Paul, how important would you say music theory is for writing? And I guess we might have different opinions to this because you come from a harmonic background. I come from a harmonically challenged background.
See, for the music theory thing is something that I've never really properly learned. See, I'm influenced by sound.
And it's been a good podcast. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
When it comes to writing songs for me, as being a guitarist, like when I was in bands, I've written easily over 200, 300 songs in my time. Easy. But I remember when I was in a band and I first started writing songs and I thought I was like a kind of the new John Squire, like new Johnny Marr of Scotland. Like I had like lots of different guitar pedals, and even for me, just having a certain sound, the songs would write themselves. So for example, I've got my red Gretsch, I've got my white Gretsch, I've got a Les Paul, and I've got my Epiphone Dove. Those guitars genuinely have songs in them. I know that there's songs that I wouldn't have written if I didn't have that guitar. And the exact same when I've written songs where it's been a certain amp setting, or I've played through a certain amp, or I've used a certain amp effect, or I've just been playing about noodling and I've just went, oh, what is this sound? I've never really heard it before. And then bang, I've made a song out of it. There's so many creative elements for me that can inspire me. I could be in front of a piano, right? You could stick me in front of probably 8 different pianos and they all have their different sound, and I could write a song on each of them, and I would only have written that song on that certain piano because I get inspired by just the sound of them, the timbres of them.
Are there any plugins, for example, amp sims that you use that have inspired different sounds?
Recently, I honestly, like you can imagine with me being Paul Third, like I don't like buying plugins these days, but I bought the Corey Wong amp sim from Neural DSP. That thing is phenomenal. It's the best amp sim I've ever had, and the presets on there are just awesome. Like I was recently working with a Grammy winning engineer on a song. Well, I'm not going to say who because he's not released. The artist hasn't been released yet, but he has been signed, and we were working together on this song, and he just went, there's the acapella. Can you see, I really liked Unnaturally True. Could you kind of I want your vibe. And it would be an interesting thing to talk about, where he's very R&B based. And this guy is talented. I mean, this producer is like, there's a reason why.
What vibe did he want from you? What part of your vibe? Did he want guitar vibe?
He wanted like,
more
he
vocal
said to
vibe?
me like a Beatlesy 60s poppy vibe.
As in he gave you the a cappella vocals, just the vocal stems.
That is
he
it.
Wanted
That's
you to
all
write.
I had. And he was
so the opposite of top line music,
Yep.
top line writing. What is the opposite of top line?
I don't know.
Besides bottom line, obviously.
But it was fascinating for me because I've never done that where I just had like an a cappella. So I had to figure out, in a sense, it's kind of the way you work. It was the first time where I had to have somebody's melody and write music to that.
Yeah, okay, I hadn't thought of it that way.
So it was interesting, and I just came up with stuff, and he kind of gave me what he was thinking, and it was completely different. Like, he's such an R&B based producer, and he's such a talented musician. And I was like, mate, like your groove is unbelievable. This sounds awesome. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want it for this artist. I don't like, my sound just isn't the direction that I want to take this artist in. I want to have your sound and your vibe. And we played about, and I played about with the Corey Wong amp sim, and there was this certain preset, and I just tweaked it slightly. And as soon as I kind of started playing with this kind of very like overdriven reverby sound through the Gretsch, I tried the first Gretsch and it didn't work, and the second Gretsch it just sounded a little bit better. And I had half the song already done in my head. And then as soon as I kind of started using the amp sim and I was inspired by the sound, the rest of the song just came together. And I was and I wouldn't have written those guitar parts without having the effects, without having that the sustain of the reverb and the drive together, blending it together, and like the song would have been a different song. And it's amazing to me how, like, we're both songwriters. That producer is awesome. He's worked with some huge artists, and I'm really blessed to being able to work with him for this artist. But like, it's amazing how I listen to him and I go, you are amazing. But he goes, but I have a certain sound. I am influenced by certain things, and that's kind of my sound. I want your sound, in the same way that he would maybe listen to one of your tracks and go, I can't do what you do. And I think that's the great thing about being a songwriter, because everybody is influenced differently. We're influenced by different things. Everybody's got their own sound. The problem is, I think, with modern music is, like, my wife will listen to playlists, for example, like a mellow playlist on Spotify, and all the songs sound the same. All the singers sound the same. All the songs sound the same. All the melodies sound the same. I can listen.
But that is the very concept of a playlist, though. Very similar.
I know,
songs.
but then, like, how many times could you do fucking C, A minor, F, and G? Like, how many times can you do the same?
All day. I mean, there's those mashups that have like 100 songs with the same.
So for me, it's like I think that's something that is important to keep as a songwriter. Like, people listen to Unnaturally True and they were like, it's a different sim to what other people are doing. There's a Beatlesy 60s vibe, and he was like,
that's a great song, man.
He's like, Paul, I can't get that sim. That's not in me. So like, my bass line was different to him, and I was like, wow, you're really talented. But he listened to my arrangement, my bass line, my guitar playing, my vibe for that song. We essentially wrote that song together in a sense musically, and he was like, that is exactly what I want. And I mean, it shows you like how if you have the right tools around you, then you can create different things. It's all about being creative, and I think the more tools that you have to be creative, you'll make more creative things. You'll be more creative.
The more working audio tools, the better.
Correct.
Right? So in terms of collaborating, how I got into songwriting was, as a drummer, obviously, I've always been in rehearsal rooms with bands, and you might start a drum beat and the bass player does a groove and the guitar player plays on top, or the guitar player comes in with a riff and then you put a drum beat to it. Very organically, like I know the Red Hot Chili Peppers still do this. They very organically create songs. So I was always involved in like a writing, arranging point of view, but never really the one contributing melodies and lyrics. I didn't really know how to do that until I went to university, and I had to do it, and I had to learn keyboard skills, how to move between chords effectively with minimal movement and, smoother harmonic transitions and stuff, which was an invaluable part of my drumming degree, as was the music production side of it, if not more valuable than the drumming side of it, because I still use those keyboard skills and production skills on a daily basis. But then there was a point when I wanted to contribute more. And in 2014, at a time when I was having a bit of a difficult time, I joined a band, and it just happened that they were about to record a new album. And I was into production and started writing stuff. I took a song to the band, and it was my big breakup song, and they were like, yeah, it's a bit too personal, we can't really use that. And I was like, okay, I know what you really mean, it's crap. Right, that's fine, I'll go away, I'll keep writing. And then I kept writing instrumentals, or I'd write songs and the singer would be like, right, send me that without the vocals, and then he'd write something vocally that was far superior. And that band is called The Fuse. We are online. So I learned quite a lot from him in terms of how he was approaching top line writing, which made me up my game. And then I just kept writing. And then in 2019, I just thought, do you know what? I need to collect all these skills I have, drumming, songwriting, production, vaguely singing, and put them into a project, a legacy project, so I could leave something behind. That's how I got into writing music. And it's just kind of evolved and gone from there. But now I use writing as a development project to develop my writing, singing, production, recording, engineering, mixing skills. It's a whole multifaceted purpose project, which I love. Hence, it's so painfully time-consuming. But since I've been writing my own stuff, I haven't been able to go back into a band setting and just play someone else's songs or just be the drummer in the band. I literally can't. I feel like that's a step back that I can't take. But I've also not quite yet had the balls to co-write with someone because I have serious imposter syndrome, and I feel like everyone's going to find out that I'm cheating, and I am a very basic musician. Which brings me to my next question for you, actually, which is,